In 1989, a group of 6 pals from Bayside High changed the face of Saturday morning television.
We were the first live-action sitcom in the world for kids, Saturday morning.
Our competition was Bugs Bunny.
Bugs didn't stand a chance against these photogenic, pimple-free teens. During the early 90s, the Saved by the Bell cast members were the coolest kids in school. But they didn't sail to the head of the class right away. In the beginning, the gang was actually expelled from 2 network lineups. In the spring of 1987, NBC president Brandon Tartikoff hatched an idea for a primetime series about a revered grade school teacher. He titled the show, Good Morning, Miss Bliss.
Brandon Tartikoff had a 6th grade teacher named Miss Bliss. And according to Brandon, Miss Bliss, other than his grandfather, had the biggest influence on his life.
Network execs had a clear picture of who would play the lead.
It was written for Sandy Duncan, but then they had a problem on the Hogan family, and they moved Sandy to that. And then Brandon said, how would you like Haley Mills?
Although Mills never starred in a TV series before, she was no Hollywood neophyte. In the 60s, the British actress charmed America as the bubbly teenage star of Disney classics like Pollyanna and The Parent Trap. Over the next 2 decades, Mills found success as a stage actress. Then, at age 41, she accepted the role of Miss Bliss.
It was something I'd never done. And the scripts were fun, and it was a new departure.
For the show's 6th grade class, Tartikoff wanted to enroll a group of kids with the perfect blend of youthful exuberance.
We cast in that pilot Jonathan Brandis, who had gone on to Sequest, Urkel, Julia White, and Brian Austin Green from 90210.
On July 11th, 1987, the pilot for Good Morning, Miss Bliss aired in primetime on NBC.
It did not make the schedule, so we were really disappointed.
But execs at the Disney Channel saw potential for the sitcom. They placed an order with NBC for a full season. Haley Mills reprised her role, although the premise of the series was revamped.
It was a totally different show, and I created totally different characters than had been on the pilot. They were in junior high school in Indianapolis.
With a new school and a new town, the show needed an older batch of students. In the spring of 1988, casting began for the mischievous Zach Morris.
Zach was the most popular boy in school, the king of the halls. He always has a scheme or a scam.
Zach had to look you in the eye and lie right to your face, and you had to love him.
A 14-year-old child model from Los Angeles clinched the role.
Mark Paul Gosselaar came in, and he had that twinkle in his eye, and I said to myself, if this kid can speak English, he's Zach.
When you saw Mark Paul, you knew he was going to be a star. You knew it.
Producers then cast Zach's eccentric sidekick. 11-year-old Dustin Diamond, a newcomer to acting, landed the role of Samuel Screech Powers.
I got the name Screech because do you know what it sounds like when you screech, when you run your nail across a blackboard? The screech, that was where Screech came from. That Screech can drive you nuts.
He was sort of king of the nerds.
I'm sure they hired me because I was, a little wacky or something was wired strange in the head.
Next, producers looked for a young actress to fill the designer shoes of Lisa Turtle.
Lisa Turtle was a princess and was conceived as a Jewish white girl from Long Island.
An unlikely candidate auditioned for the part, 13-year-old child model Lark Voorhees.
She read Lisa Turtle, and I said, that's her. And what do you mean that's her? They said she's black. I said, well, so's Lisa Turtle, as of now. And then Lark Voorhees was our princess.
31-year-old Dennis Haskins, who hailed from Chattanooga, caught wind of the new series. He jumped at the chance to read for the role of Principal Richard Belding.
I called my manager at the time, and she said, they're looking for somebody black and over 50. I said, oh, well, 7 auditions later, I got the job.
He was a responsible principal, so the notion of someone who could be your friend, who could be a comic foil, but still be an authority figure.
In August 1988, the cast arrived at NBC Studios in Burbank. It was time for lights, cameras, and action.
You work very fast. They're rewriting scenes and tearing pages out and shoving things under your nose, and you're trying to learn them. And I did find out a little bit undermining, a little bit alarming.
On November 30th, 1988, Good Morning Miss Bliss premiered on the Disney Channel.
We were still finding our way through. Some things were working and some things weren't.
It didn't really appeal to kids enough sufficiently. It didn't sufficiently appeal to an older audience either.
After 13 episodes, producers broke the news that every actor dreads.
We all go to the set, and Peter Engel, I'll never forget this, says, "Ladies and gentlemen, Disney has chosen not to go on with the project." People start crying and stuff.
Coming up, Saved by the Bell tanks.
Oh, no one likes